Hey, welcome to the Master Tech Lou channel. I am Lou, and this video is a very quick diagnosis on a Buick that has a bunch of fault codes. All right, so here's the fault codes I have. P0108, P0452, P0463, P0641, P1106, P1107, P2432, all right? These are all in the engine control module. Now, we got circuit high voltage, circuit low voltage, circuit high voltage, 5-volt reference, circuit intermittent high voltage, circuit intermittent low voltage, circuit low voltage. What that means is that when it says low or high, depending on what it's looking for, it could mean it's unplugged or it's shorted, okay? So it all depends on the terminology. Now, what I did was I went to the wiring diagram. From the powertrain control module, the 5-volt reference, it goes to secondary air injection valve. Oh, look at that, secondary air injection valve. Map sensor, look at that, map sensor. EGR, we don't have a code for EGR, but that's okay. It also goes through the fuse block, then it goes to the instrument panel, again, GM and their connectors, and then to the fuel tank pressure sensor, which, look at that, fuel tank pressure sensor. Then the customer's complaint was the gas gauge was also not working. So what I had done was, I went to, where's my flashlight? Get my headlight. I went to under the car, just to start at the gas gauge, at the fuel tank pressure sensor. I unplugged that big connector, and I checked the gray wire, and I had 0.03 of a volt back there. So I decided to ohm the wiring to the fuse block. So I removed the fuse block bottom connector, and I checked the gray wire there. I still only had 300 millivolts. So then what I did was, I went ahead and decided, you know what? Here, watch this. Let me show this. I decided, let me just check to see, since the map sensor is shared 5 volts, let me check it at the map sensor. So I checked it in there, 0.5, now I got half a volt, okay? So then I decided, well, the air injection valve is also in the circuit. Let me unplug that guy. I unplugged that guy, and I just decided to recheck here. Look at that, 5 volts. So all of my issues were because that secondary air valve is shorted internally. 5 volts, shorted internally. It took me all about 30 minutes to figure that out. And I'm not saying that egotistically. I'm saying that because I have the wiring diagram at my disposal. All of the codes that I had all share the same 5-volt reference. So two things were happening. Either A, or two things could have happened. Either A, the PCM, known as the powertrain control module, could have not been sending out the 5 volts, and none of the sensors would have had 5 volts, or it could have been shorted at one of the actual sensors that the 5-volt works, and it kills the voltage, or draws it down, or shorts it, whichever one you want to call. So, ideally, I spent too much time diagnosing it because I was focused on the hardest thing further away, and then I went to the fuse block. What I should have done was look at all the codes and then just go straight to the wiring diagram, which I did, but I didn't put it together right away, okay? And see that they're all on the same 5-volt reference, and there was a code for the 5-volt reference, meaning that the engine module recognized it's losing the 5-volt reference itself. So hopefully this helps you guys. If you got codes with all of those at one time, you can unplug all of them and verify that every connector on that gray wire for this car has the proper 5 volts. And if it does, start plugging them in one by one until you lose your 5 volts, and then you have your culprit. So for this car, I'm gonna order a secondary air injection control valve and call it a day. Of course, I'm gonna verify the repair and make sure it doesn't draw down the 5 volts. But hopefully my diagnosis helps you in figuring out your issue. There's a common issue that I see with the system that I use, that the wire could be broken from the fuse box to the back, but that's if you only have one code. I had codes for everything that had to do with 5 volts. So that's how I came to my conclusion. So I hope this helps. I am Master Tech Lou. I go by Lou. Just call me Lou. It's cool. Appreciate you watching. Subscribe. Hit the notification. I hope this video was short and sweet for you, and you got your car fixed. So take care.